Stop wasting money on that dumb shit and instead put it in investments. I know it's tempting. You'll spend it and be broke again.
Oh no.
Oh, why did you do that? Hope you guys like our books.
See, unprofessionalism.
We just had to go buy them from Mexico.
Used, so it makes it look like we read them.
So the rules that Ryan was referring to, one of the most common ones is the 50-30-20 rule. Now, it's a very simple breakdown. 50% going towards needs, 30% going to your wants, and 20% going to your savings or debt or anything like that.
Just like you said, the hardest part in most people's case is not how to get started in budgeting. It's differentiating what goes in what category. And that's one of the biggest pros with this style of budgeting. There's only 3 categories it can go into. So if you're saving for the future, obviously that's not going to necessarily come out of your needs. That'll probably go into your savings category. Yeah. And needs, you do have to try and narrow it down and be more specific. And sometimes it can get tricky. Like if you go out to eat every night, that's not necessarily a need to go out to eat. Yes, food is a necessity, but going out to eat isn't necessarily a need.
But you're going to want to look around, and to lower those needs, you're going to want to shop around, look around, maybe for different car insurance. Everybody has insurance, health insurance, car insurance. Well, I hope everybody has all these insurances, and home insurance. Sometimes renter's insurance if you don't have home insurance, but they almost every year they go up, and it's just enough that you're like, okay, like $100 on $1,000 premium, a couple $1,000 premium, you're like, okay. Then it just keeps going up, but all of them go up, and all of them go up again, and they just keep doing that. But if you take a little bit of time every 6 months to a year and you just shop around, almost everybody says it, but not a lot of people actually take advantage.
Yeah.
Sometimes 6 months in, sometimes a year in, you should just shop around and ask providers. Actually, you don't even have to go to the individual. There's companies out there nowadays that will shop for you. You just go to a broker basically, and they'll just put out your information and see what the quotes come back.
Yeah, they're like,
it's as easy as that.
I'll tell you what your best quote is. That's how I got my car insurance.
Exactly. 5 minutes or less usually, and you can find out how much you can save, or if you have the best you can get at this moment, and you can sleep better at night.
Yeah.
Maybe for a different car completely.
All right, guys, so starting out, when you're young, super practical application is just buying a cheap, reliable car. Now, you don't want to cheap out that you're going to have so many fees to, fix it up all the time because you want to avoid any extra expenses. But you don't need this brand new car when, you first turn 16 or when you get in college or even when you first get your job. A lot of people do that once they start making good money, like, I need a new fancy car. You don't need that. Get a good, reliable car. Don't be afraid to just drive that into the ground. Get the most out of it that you can and then, buy another reliable car. Unless you've made millions by now, then I guess you can get a decent car, if you're really feeling it. But that's the first one, just a very practical choice, a good, reliable car.
So that's going to help as well. Then you're going to want to shop. Look up the different, the cheapest grocery stores. Typically it's Walmart. All the things like that. And you want a coupon. You're going to want to be a fanatic about saving money and cutting expenses completely because you need to survive and you don't want to cut out too many needs, but you want to lower those needs.
Yeah.
So you don't need a $3,000 apartment, which might sound crazy, but you want a $500 to $1,000 apartment because it can allow you to have a little bit of a breathing room.
Yeah. And now the next step is to cut down on whatever wants you possibly can. On a low income, the reality is you're going to have to make some sacrifices. And the lower the income, the more sacrifices you're going to have to make. That's just the tough reality of it. I remember the first time I ever went grocery shopping when I moved out in college. I bought exclusively like candy, Fruity Pebbles, Pop-Tarts, nothing that filled me up at all. I went through it in like 2 days and I spent like $80.
It's like that typical when you're like 5-year-old. I just want to stay up, eat ice cream for breakfast.
Yeah, I'm in control
eat marshmallows. Now. Yeah, that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, but it only took me one time. I'm like,
yeah,
hungry 2 days later. There's no way I can keep doing this.
Yeah,
I still wouldn't buy the Fruity Pebbles. I love some Fruity Pebbles. But also you're going to save as much as you can because the reality is things happen and you do need saving. So step one in when you're saving is just saving up enough to have $1,000 in your bank account. Now that may not sound like a lot or that may sound like a ton of money, but the reality is you do need an emergency fund of sorts.
Okay, let's set the scene. So student loan pause is officially over. On top of that, credit card interest rates are sky high, credit card debts are sky high, car prices are sky high, all of this combining to make a mountain of debt for many people.
Yeah, guys, so what we're referring to is something called the snowball method or the debt snowball method. It's where you just start paying off your lowest total debt and keep building up to the next smallest. So you're paying off these different sources of debt until you've paid off all your debt, obviously. That's one reason that a lot of people like the snowball method is you're starting out small, you're getting some wins under your belt.
A win is a win. A win is a win. I don't care what y'all say. A win is a win.
And eventually you're getting these massive wins that are super rewarding.
But say you budgeted your utility bill that month to be $150 for electric. You're going to take whatever you don't spend. So you did really good that month. You only spent $120 on electric. I'm making this up, obviously. So you're going to take that extra $30 and put it towards that smallest debt. So that $30 payment, minimum payment, is now going to be a $60 payment. Now, once that smallest debt is gone, what we're going to do is we're going to take that 30 that was the minimum plus all the other things we're able to combine that month, and we're going to put it down on the next one. And once you've paid down that debt and you're really feeling excited and good, then we're going to want you to save your butt off and be aggressive with saving so that if that emergency comes along, you can handle it. So on top of the $1,000 emergency fund that we started, we're going to build a real true emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses.
Now, some of you may be wondering, all right, well, where's the investing side of things? That's kind of
Pump the brakes.
Yeah, that kind of comes a little bit later. Make sure that first you've paid off your debts and you've done your savings and everything. Now that you've gotten to that point where you have your debts paid off, maybe you have 6 months of savings, now you can start to wander into the whole investing game and everything, but that's kind of a separate video. We appreciate you guys tuning in this week. Again, leave any comments or questions you guys have in the comments. We love interacting with you guys. Be sure to like and subscribe, share. We're trying to get this content out there. We've been gaining some traction lately, so we appreciate that from you guys, but again, we really do appreciate it.
See you guys in the next one.
Stop wasting money on that dumb shit and instead put it in investment. I know it's tempting. You'll spend it and be broke again.